So this one is actually pretty disappointing. So I also ordered this one online at the same time I ordered the dwarf cherry. And what this one is supposed to be is a Japanese Zelkova. And Zelkova are related to the elms. They're separate, but I can't remember the exact terminology. They're like in the same family. You know, they're closely related. And so I was really excited about this Zelkova because I've always wanted one. I do have a Chinese elm, and I'll show you guys that later. So when I found this Zelkova online for sale, I was like, okay, I have to get this. But as you can see, it did not arrive in the best condition. And this is how it arrived. I got it, again, with the cherry about 3 days ago. Yeah, so there's hardly any leaves on it. And I also found at least 3 different kinds of pests on this one. I found aphids, huge fat aphids, crawling all over. I took it out of the box and the aphids were already just crawling up and down. I found more of those spider mites. I also found, I think whiteflies. Whiteflies are something that looks like whiteflies. So those are all the ones that I found on here. I did immediately spray this with neem oil. Very thoroughly. I sprayed it way more thoroughly than I usually spray. And looking at it, pest-wise, it actually looks a little better than it did before, which is good, because there's not as many things actively sucking the juices out. Although, taking a closer look now, underneath all of these leaves, there's all kinds of bugs. Again, you probably can't really see that from there. Yeah, see, a leaf fell off, but there's all kinds of things. Yeah, there's you can kind of see a little shadow. That's something, and that's on the underside of pretty much all the leaves on this plant. So yeah, it's not looking too good. I'm hoping I can save it though, because I mean, look at that root structure. I mean, that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, the other thing, so after I sprayed it with neem and watered it because it was also pretty dry, well, after a day, it started developing this lovely coating of white mold all over the top of the surface, which is never a good sign. Literally never. What I'm going to do with this one today, oh boy, I'm going to trim it some more. Maybe try and pick off some of these dead leaves. I'm going to rinse it off with water. I'll just completely spray it down. And then I am going to take it out of the soil. I'm going to completely get rid of all this mildewy soil. And actually, this one I'm going to repot into sphagnum moss. And so this is a trick I've learned from watching Peter Chan's bonsai videos. Highly recommend his channel. And one of his tricks that he taught me is that, and this is just dry sphagnum moss. It needs to be wetted down first. But when you pot plants into sphagnum moss like this, it helps rejuvenate them, it helps them grow, it helps them gain strength back. The only point of optimism I have for this my Zelkova right now is that there is some new growth on here that is still green. So those spots right there, kind of see, you know, there's a little new growth there, and there's a few up on this tall branch, kind of see it, but I don't know if that will survive, the ones up there. But it does tell me that the plant is still alive but struggling. So I am going to, I guess I'll start by just plucking off as many of these dead leaves as I can before I do anything else. And let's see, and let me trim. Yeah, so some of this is just completely dead. So anything that's dead, I'm just gonna Just gonna take right off. Yeah, but see, like at the top of this, there's a little tiny green bud. So stuff like that I want to keep for now. You know, even if the it would leave the rest of it very barren, I just want to get the plant healthy for now, and then worry about trying to shape it and train it later on. So let's see, I'm just gonna pluck a lot of these dying leaves off. And yeah, these are just coming off really easy. I don't even need my clippers, it seems like. And yeah, so part of the reason I'm doing this is because this automatically just gets rid of a lot of the pests. I'm physically just taking them off. And so that makes it easier because the neem has to do less. It helps reduce the infestation that's going on. Yeah, this is just really bad. Yeah, so if you can see this, I'm just barely touching it, and all of these leaves are just completely like falling off of it, just pouring off the plant. So, which is good because there's no sense in trying to save leaves that are already dead. Hopefully this should help the plant to focus its energy back on the parts of it that are still alive. Yeah, I've never seen a plant in this bad condition. I should say, never seen one of my plants in this bad of condition. Because usually, you can avoid pest problems that are this bad by catching them early, and that's why you should take a look at your plants as often as possible. Whenever you water them, just give them a once over, make sure they look okay. Because if you catch pest problems early, then they become easy to deal with. But if you let them get this bad, then it becomes a lot harder to deal with. Okay, so most of the dead leaves are off. Most of the yellow leaves are off. These two I'll just pluck off. Let's see. So the new growth, let me get a good angle on this. So so you can see this really tall shoot right here. So the new growth on this one, it's right here and small. I'm gonna leave that because I want that on. Right above it though. Yeah, that one's dead. And the leaf above it is completely covered in pests as well. But there's also another new growth just under that leaf. So I'm gonna pluck off this leaf off and then trim it just above. All the growth above that point was dead, but there's two new growth points here. And like I said, even though this is like super long and eventually I'd probably clip it off, right now I just want to get the plant back to good health. So let me check something. Let me just clip this and see. So the good news is when I clip that branch in the middle, it's still green inside, which is a really good sign. That means the plant's still definitely alive. It's not just dead wood, so it does have a chance. And oh god, these leaves are just, these pests are just awful. Okay, so well, with the like 10 leaves that are left. So okay, some of these I'm gonna take off again still because they're still just not good. And hopefully, like I said, by getting rid of these pests and then spraying it down and repotting it. Hopefully the new growth should take over. Because if I don't get these pests off, there's absolutely no way this plant will survive. This one I'm just gonna clip off completely. So, yeah, every single leaf. You know, see, it makes me wonder how long it's been going on. Probably months, if not longer. This leaf just has a couple, so that one I'll just spray. One of the other things I'm going to do, not that there's like many leaves left, full leaves like this, but if you see just a couple pests, I also recommend just taking them off with your fingers, because that way you know they're off the plant, and then doing your neem spray afterwards to kill anything you missed, and also just as a preventative. Okay, so this looks better, believe it or not. There's hardly any leaves left, but it looks better. And so there is, let's see if I can get a good shot. There is some new growth again right here in the middle. Right there, you can see that little bit of green right there. So that's a good sign. There's a lot over here. This is all fairly new growth. It doesn't yet have pests all over it. So, oh, all right, and crawling out of the pot is a giant centipede or something. Let's get a good view of that. So there he is, some little centipede or something. Don't know exactly what kind he is, but he will soon be going outside. All right. So let me just get that centipede before he disappears. Okay. All right. Before I spray this down, I'm gonna take it out of the soil because the soil it needs to get out of the soil. So I have my bowl for old soil and leaf clippings. I have a little super cheap bonsai shovel. You know, it works, whatever. And so what I'm gonna do is just try and take it out of this pot. First, I'm gonna scrape off the soil surface because the soil is disgusting, super moldy. Just kind of scraping it off just so I don't have to handle the mold myself. And hopefully the roots are okay. I haven't looked at them yet, so we'll see. Oops. Yeah. Plants are resilient, so don't be afraid if you accidentally break a branch or something. Okay. All right. So there's all the moldy soil, and this one just comes right out, just completely out. So. All right, so let me see how the roots are looking. Because it's hard to tell so far. They are thick. I'm just gonna use my fingers for this. Oh God. Okay, so there's another centipede in there. So this is definitely gonna have to be washed out because who knows how many more centipedes are hiding in here, and I really don't want to get like bitten or whatever they can do to you. I don't even want them to crawl all over me. Oh yeah, oh my God, there's more. Another one. That's 3. Yeah, so I'm just gonna have to rinse this entire soil ball out, because when I repot it, I don't want any of these centipedes in the new soil. I don't know if they're harmful, but they're probably not helping. And at worst, they're eating some of the roots. Okay, well, the good news at least is overall the roots look okay, as far as I can tell so far. They don't seem to be too rotten or anything. Oh, wow. Okay, a ton more centipedes in here. All right, so I'm gonna go rinse this out, finish rinsing this out, and then I'll come back and show you the roots and see if there's anything we need to keep clipping. So I washed out and rinsed off all the roots. As you can see, there is no soil left on them. Usually I don't rinse them out this much, but this one called for some severe methods. And I'm glad I did, because when washing it out, I found about 3 or 4 more of those centipedes, some baby centipedes. And even just now when I was bringing it back in, I found 2 more I had to pick off because they had blended in so well with the roots. And I didn't see them until they started crawling. So I did that. I also rinsed off the leaves, plucked off a few more. But the good news is I think I washed off all the pests from the leaves. So there shouldn't be any left. The roots look okay. They don't look too rotten or anything. I'll probably trim some of the ends. Let's see. Just to tidy it up a bit. Oops. Let's see. I'll do it over the drip tray. And so when I trim roots like this, right now I'm not trimming too much because, you know, the plant is already having issues. But hopefully this might stimulate more new growth, and some of them just look a little bit black. They don't feel slimy, so I don't think they're rotten. But yeah, like this one, pretty dark, and it also just like breaks when I pull on it gently. It just comes away really easily. So that one I'll just clip off. Because, you know, better safe than sorry with these types of things. So yeah, so I'm not taking off too much really, just a lot of the ends near the bottom. And most of them look okay, so I think I'll leave most of these here for now. And some roots came away too when I was rinsing it off, and I think those were the weak ones. So what's left is all seems pretty strong and healthy. So there we go. So I got a new pot. It's a little bit deeper, about the same diameter, but a little bit deeper, because I figure, you know, this plant needs strength right now. I need to bring it back to life, and then later on I can worry about making it into more of a bonsai shape. So I have been soaking my sphagnum moss, because like I showed you the little piece before, it always comes super dry. So I recommend soaking it for a few minutes beforehand, just to make it easier to work with and for it to absorb water. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do it over the bowl of water so I don't drip water all over my... Okay, and here's what some sphagnum moss on the bottom looks like. So I do a layer just near the bottom, and then I'll put my Zelkova in. There. And it sinks down really nicely into it because the sphagnum is so soft. So that's good for now. Like I said, I'm not going to worry too much about getting it perfectly straight or lined up or anything. I just want it to be healthy again. I just want it to live. So I'll put that like that. That looks fine. So now I'll just fill in the rest of the pot like that with sphagnum, just like I would with normal soil. All right, and there we go. So you can see sphagnum moss filled up just below the top of the pot. The Zelkova is nice and sturdy in it. sturdier than I expected. Actually, doesn't really move around a lot. So there's that. So my final steps, I'm just gonna spray all of this branch structure and the new growth with neem once more, just in case I miss any pests and in case any more get up there. And then I'm also gonna drench the sphagnum moss with neem, just like squirt it into the soil so it'll absorb the neem into its structure. And I'm gonna place it in a bright place. I do have a ton of grow lights that I use indoors, so I think I'm gonna place it under the grow lights for now because it's still pretty weak. I don't want it to get burned just sticking it right out in bright sunlight. So I'm gonna place it under some bright grow lights for a few weeks and see what happens. Hopefully the new growth will continue to grow. Hopefully the plant will be able to gain some strength and vigor back. I'm actually going to cut off this little top part because the top part is dead. So I'm just going to cut it right above the last leaf. There we go. All right. All right, so here's what my Zelkova looks like now. Better. Fewer pests, fewer leaves, but it's not crawling with things. And yeah, we'll see how it does.